Have you ever felt utterly alone while standing in the middle of a crowded room? There are 8 billion of us. We are connected by millions of wires, satellites, and instant messages. We are online 24 hours a day. And yet, right now, humanity is suffering through the largest epidemic in its history, the epidemic of loneliness. This isn't just a bad mood or a passing sadness. Science is blunt. Loneliness kills. Research from Brigham Young University proved that chronic isolation destroys your body as effectively as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Your brain perceives a lack of social connection as a physical threat. In ancient times, being cast out of the tribe meant certain death. This is why, today, your nervous system panics when your phone stays silent for too long. We fear the silence because we think it's a precursor to the end. But why are we so lonely when we are surrounded by so many? Consider the haunting experiment called Universe 25. Scientist John Calhoun created a perfect utopia for mice. Endless food, total safety, no predators. But as the population grew, something terrifying happened. A class of mice emerged called the beautiful ones. They completely stopped socializing, fighting, or mating. They spent their days doing nothing but eating, sleeping, and grooming themselves in total isolation, even though they were surrounded by a dense crowd. Does that sound familiar? Today, we are those beautiful ones. We sit in our perfect digital apartments, polishing our social media profiles to a shine, yet we are paralyzed by the thought of real, raw human contact. We have chosen safe isolation over the messy, painful reality of intimacy. But does this mean silence is our enemy? To find the answer, we have to travel to the coldest place on Earth, March 1934, Antarctica. Admiral Richard Byrd voluntarily locks himself in a tiny shack buried under layers of ice. 500 miles of frozen wasteland between him and the nearest human being. The temperature, minus 60 degrees. The first few weeks felt like a peaceful meditation. But then, the polar night arrived. The sun vanished for months. In the absolute silence, Byrd began to hear the thumping of his own blood. Soon, the nightmares began. A faulty stove began to slowly poison him with carbon monoxide. He was too weak to go outside. For 2 months, he lived in a daze between life and death. His only companion was his diary. On one of his darkest days, he wrote, "I am here alone and I am dying. But the paradox is, only now have I begun to truly live." Loneliness is either a prison that breaks your spirit or a temple where you can finally hear the truth. Byrd discovered that when the external world vanishes, the internal world becomes infinite. He realized we spend our lives chasing things we cannot take with us into that icy shack. He returned from the ice a different man, one who never feared silence again, because he had found a foundation within himself. The problem with modern life isn't that we are alone. It's that we cannot stand the company of ourselves. We use other people, likes, and endless scrolling as a bandage to cover an inner void. No, a bandage doesn't heal a wound. It only hides it. Loneliness is a tragedy if you are its victim. No, it is a supreme privilege if you are its master. It is only in this silence, when the voices of others fade away, that your true self is born. So for you, is the silence today a prison, or is it a temple?